Hey everybody, it's Lilith. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I've never done a voiceover before, so we're going to hope that it goes well. As you can tell by the title of the video, I am stretching my ears up to 9mm. I was going to do 10mm and I even ordered the 10mm tapers and jewelry, but it was just a little bit too big for me and the stretch was a little too painful, and stretching is sometimes supposed to be a little uncomfortable or involve a pinch, but it's never supposed to hurt a lot. So I decided I was not going to go with that and I was just going to go with some 9mm. First, I am just clipping my hair back so it doesn't get in my face, and then I am pulling out my supplies. This is old holy butter that I eventually had to replace because I was running out. And then these are my tapers and my jewelry that I got from urbanbodyjewelry.com. I really like this website. They have a nice array of stuff, and it's also really hard for me to find stuff that comes in titanium, which is the only kind of jewelry I like to wear. My body is really sensitive to certain types of metals. I also really love the fact that their stuff comes with a size chart. I am then removing my jewelry because I don't want to get crap all over them from the balm, and then I go and wash my hands. After that, I take out my pre-existing jewelry. This was a very long-winded size for me. I had it on for a long time. And then I put these away in case I ever decide that I want to downsize. I always keep my old jewelry, but I can't imagine that I would actually do that. That's me just showing you that I've gone to wash my hands yet again. And I'm showing you the size of my holes as they are. They look so small now that I've had my ears stretched to this size for a bit. This is the size of the taper. This is the size of the tunnel. It looks so much smaller in my hand than it does in my ear. So I start off by taking some holy butter, rubbing it between my fingers, kind of warm it up a little. And then I always like to massage the ear for a minute, just to kind of help it relax and to help with blood flow, along with also lubing up the actual placement of the piercing. I have, however, since this video switched to using jojoba oil for this kind of stuff because I just like it better than the lubrication of holy butter. I also then go on to lube up the taper as well, and I will eventually do it with the tunnel. This was not a particularly difficult stretch by way of the actual stretch. It's gonna be a different difficulty later when you see it. The actual stretch itself, I went very slow. There was a tiny little pinch, and then it slid in relatively easily. You can see that I'm kind of reacting to it because it did sting a little bit, but it wasn't too terrible. It was pretty normal when compared to my previous stretches. Seeing it through my ear is always a little weird. This was very short-lived excitement because it's about to get very difficult. Stretching at home is definitely accompanied by some difficulties. This is also me trying to figure out how to keep it balanced while also cleaning my other hand. I waited a while. I think I left it in for 5 or 6, maybe even 7 minutes. Me trying to balance it is so stupid looking. This is also a horrible angle because I was doing this on my TV stand filming wise. I wasn't using my ring light or anything, so I needed to be able to balance a mirror. This is me putting some holy butter on the actual jewelry, and this is where it's about to get kind of messy and complicated, and you're about to see me get really irritated because holy butter is really slippery and really difficult to work with, and I would try to put the jewelry up to the end of the taper and slide it through my ear, and I would take a while and it would slip right out of my hand. The taper would not line up correctly, and this happened again and again and again, where I would put the taper back in and I would line the jewelry up and I would try to slip it through, but it would be so slippery from the balm being all over the taper and my ear and the earring and now all over my fingers that it kept slipping right out. I was really irritated, to say the least. I don't even try to hide that. I did cut out a lot of footage of me being really, really angry, and I cut out a couple of tries. I cut out a lot of cussing. I'm not even hiding how irritated I am at this point. I just thought that it was good to put in how irritated I was because I think it's realistic to show that this is a difficult process. Like I said, the actual stretch itself initially was not hard. It's the fact that it's so slippery. I just cannot get it to slide through because it just keeps slipping off of my earlobe. So I kept attempting to go back in and try again. I was giving my ear breaks in between this to kind of calm down because I am like stretching open a wound essentially. I eventually decided to just kind of leave the taper there for a minute to chill out and adjust to the size again while I worked on the other ear. And the other ear was exactly the same, where it slid right in super easy. It just had a little bit of a pinch feeling and there was no real resistance. And then I tried to calm myself down. And looking back, it's really funny, but when it was happening, it was not at all funny and I was really frustrated. I am a person who sometimes can get really upset because I'm neurodivergent and get overstimulated easily, and stretching my ears is overstimulating. But when I finally got the jewelry into this ear, I was so thankful. It also looked so much bigger in my ear than it did in my hand, and it was so weird for me to be able to see that much of the light from my window through it. So this is just me being a dork and pulling on my already poor red little ear for no reason. And then came the difficulty of trying to get the back on the earring. I also got the O-rings from the same website. They came with the jewelry and some even came with the tapers, but they were incredibly small. I actually couldn't get them on the back of these earrings whatsoever. I eventually had to use 10mm O-rings on the back of my 9mm jewelry because look how small they are. Like compared to the jewelry itself, with how swollen my ear was, I couldn't get it to work. So I'm currently wearing ones that are healed now, and I have the 9mm rings on, but I had to use 10mm when I first stretched them. This is me comparing the old size with the new size. The difference is crazy to me, but I love them and I'm really happy with them. So that was it. That was all. This is super short. Thanks. Follow all my socials and subscribe. Bye.